You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Salam. My name is Sheikh Abdullah. My name is Sheikh Abu Hakim Abdullah, President Chairman of Al-Masjid Shari'ah Law, AMSA, a non-profit religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. I'm going to talk to you about something that just happened to me not too long ago, a few hours ago. I was looking at my computer, at some of the programs come on my computer like everybody else have. And I was looking at a program coming out of Canada. These new brothers, these new modern brothers, are making these movies now about some of the problems that they run into in Islam. Now, one of the things in this program where he started about is about a brother getting married to a sister, and the sister had a background of hanging out with a lot of people in the street, also going with different men. Now, it wasn't explained whether the sister was a Muslim at the time or did she just apostate her deen and then come back to Islam. Well, I'm going to handle one part of that. The part I'm handling is this. The sister standing up there talking to a non-believer, talking about this is my friend, called across the street. She took her husband down there, her newly husband, went down there with her to wait on, to see her, talk to her, to meet her outside. I think they were supposed to be two college kids, two college students together. So while the brother went to get some coffee for the two of them, he came out the store and he bumped into this guy. I'm going to try to explain this. I'm not good on explaining TV programs and movies and stuff. I know a brother that can do this. He knows everything that happened, the ants and the buffaloes and everything that was in the movie and what 3 or 4 people said. But I'm not good at that. But I can follow what I'm just looking at. So anyway, they was talking, and the non-believer that he was talking to, now they both out there talking to non-believers. He's talking to the non-believing man, and she's talking to the non-believing woman. Now, the non-believer looks down the block, because these two used to swing together in school. So the non-believer looks down the block, and he sees the two women standing down there, and he says, oh, man, look at that. That's out of sight. She's a nice-looking woman and all that. So the brother looked at him, and then when the brother turned around, he said, she sure changed. She got on them garments now and whatnot, but she sure changed. So then he woke up to what the brother was saying, what the non-believer was saying. So he said, what? So he said, yeah, she used to be a swinger out there. She used to be all up and down the road out there. 2 or 3 different guys. You know, she used to be a real swinger. Now she went back to them garments. And she done changed a lot. So the brother said, you know, that one there? He says, yeah. He said, that's my wife. He said, oh, man. Now the brother tried to make it look like he was complimenting her on her actions of turning back to Islam. Now, I don't know whether she was supposed to be Muslim, active Muslim at that time, or just was out there in the world and still be an active Muslim at that time. Because we have a lot of that going on today. Sisters that supposed to be active Muslims at the same time doing everything, doing all the different things they wanted to do out in the street. So now the brother got hurt behind this. The brother turned around and walked over to the sister, and he looked at her, and he said, "I'll see you later." And the sister said, "They was lovey-dovey 2 minutes ago." And she said, "So-and-so, so-and-so," I'm not going to call his name. And he said, "What?" And she said, "What's the matter with you?" He said, "You should have told me." And he walked away and he said goodbye. So he left her in the street. Now, he just literally left her in the street by herself, standing up there looking at him while he walked down the street. She went to her mother's house because she had no place else to go. Now, I didn't see her father, if the father was still alive or what, but her mother answered the door, and she just hugged the mother. Mother grabbed it like all mothers do, or should do. I mean, mothers do anyway. And told her to come on inside. So she went inside. Now, she was down there 2 or 3 days. The way it looked, it was a couple of weeks, because everybody seemed to know what went down. He went over to the mosque, and they were saying, "Well, how's things going? How's everything going? You know, you all right?" and whatnot. So the other brother knew what was going on. He said, "Man, be cool." Tell his friend to be cool. Don't crack on and do like that. He's upset. So they said, "Well, you got to get it together." Now, another week went by. So something happened where he realized that he wanted his woman back. So he knocked on his mother's door, and he said, "May I speak to so-and-so?" The mother said, turned around, yelled upstairs, said, "So-and-so, what you girl's here to see you, want to talk to you." And he yelled up, said, "Can I talk to you a minute?" And she said, "I'll be right down." So she came downstairs, and he said, Can I talk to you?" And they went down the street together. He said, "Can you take a walk with me?" So now he walks her down the street. It's dark as all outdoors up there in Canada. It's pitch black, and they walking down the street together by themselves out there. Now, I'm going to skip past a lot of what they're rapping about, but anyway, she was telling about, "You knew what I was doing. You knew I told you I left the dean. I mean, I was out there doing my dean hard. And I told you all about the stuff I was involved in. Some of it anyway." And he said something to her. She said, "What, you God? You go, I got look for your forgiveness. I already apologized. I already asked I think talking to the law in the beginning. I repented my sins. So I don't have to repent them to you." So that went on, and they said a few words back and forward. And he seemed to understand where she was coming from, and he hugged her, and they went down, walking down the street, and that was the end. But at no time did anyone go into the Quran. Not one person said, "Well, let me go into the Quran and see what needs to be done with this." And to show you why they didn't go into the Quran, because they're not living Islamically. This is why they go into the Quran. They didn't go into the Quran. They're not living as slaves of Allah. They're not living as servants of Allah. They're not living as if Allah was the master of their lives. They're not living as if they sold their lives in this world for a promise of the hereafter to Allah. They're not living that way. They're not thinking that way. They're thinking this new modern stuff, that they have the right to do what they want to do. And separate it, and set the one separate from the other. There's no physical Islam, there's just a spiritual Islam, and the physical parts of me is going to go Democratic, Republican, or wherever. This is the way they live it. Because none of them went to the Quran and asked about what the Quran. If they was in the Quran and the sister was a Muslim doing all this stuff in the street, they had no business being married in the first place. Because the brother made a statement about he thought she was a pure, innocent Muslim, and he married an angel. She said, I'm not no angel. I make mistakes just like you did make mistakes. And I repented that mistake. Well, Allah describes what we got to do with each other if we thieves, if we not thieves, if we firebugs, or whatnot. If your wife is a thief or your husband's a thief, what we got to do? We got the thief for the thief and adulteress for the adulteress, which means the fornicator for the fornicator. Because that's the way it's in the Quran. Adulteress is the same in the Quran as a fornicator. Allah's apostle, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, straightened it out and put in the hadith the difference. So right away, now we gotta go. They can go into the Quran. The Quran says that a thief for a thief and adulteress for adulteress. So in other words, equals marry equals. You don't deserve that right anymore to marry somebody decent to somebody not decent. Do you understand me? Do you understand what the law is saying here? And this is what they didn't do. They didn't do this in the beginning. They did not do this in the beginning. Was she a Muslim and just running the street? Because most likely the way she looked like she was born into Islam. And just steady running the streets. Fighting Islam. So that part is over. I said about that part. But let me tell you the rest of it now. She's standing up there with this veil, with this garment on, all tied around her neck, all fancy tied around her face. And she's standing up there, and all the garments up here, and her boobs are sticking out all in the front of the sweater. She got a long skirt on, long dress skirt on, and she got a sweater on underneath. And her breasts are sticking out. You can see the prints of her breasts. What's the use of wearing this headpiece if you're going to uncover everything else? Everything else is showing straight. It's not a country where, it's a part in the Quran where women are told to tighten their garments around themselves. If they're in a non-believing country where nobody knows there's a Muslim woman. Because they're being mistaken for Muslim men. So they told them to take their garments and put tight around them and let them see that they're the woman. If they're in a country that doesn't understand how Muslim women dress. But that's not happening today. You know, she doesn't have to put a garment tight around her to see how women dress because of looking like a man. Because it's not happening today. So I'm listening at what's happening here. The thing that's going on. One of the things that's going on is nobody wants to pick up a hadith except brothers in certain countries. The Wahhabis would read a hadith. The Sufis read a book called the Traveler, not a hadith. Bukhari hadith or Muslim hadith, they don't read them. They don't want to read them because they have the Shari'ah in it. They have the way you're supposed to handle yourself. They have what you're supposed to do when you go to the bathroom, where you're supposed to go to the bathroom at, what you're supposed to do with your wife, what you're supposed to do with your children, how late you're supposed to be up. Do you share your house with your wife? Do you do such and such and such and such? They don't want that because that's a physical Islam. Because when they was in Mecca, in the beginning, it was a spiritual Islam. And they had to hide themselves and protect themselves in Mecca because of the spiritual. They couldn't go the way Allah wanted them to go. So we went to Medina. And in Medina, that's where the Sharia came down. That's where the laws came down of what you can do and what you can't do. But they don't want that. They want to be able to melt in with the Christians, the Jews, and all the rest of us, all the rest of the people. And we're getting beat up by these people. Verbally getting whipped and physically getting beat up. And we going around these people like we brothers and sisters. Like we one another. We walking with them and talking with them like we belong together. We even marrying each other. A woman coming to me one time, my nurse, one of my nurses, came to me and says, my boyfriend's a Muslim. I said, you're what? I said, you Muslim? She said, no, I'm not Muslim, but my boyfriend is. And she was I think she was a Cape Verdean, a light-skinned Cape Verdean. And she said, you Muslims sure like them white women. I said, what? She said, yeah, brothers and sisters, they all like them white women. I'm listening to what she's saying about this brother. Because she's my nurse. And she knows I know better. But she's trying to show me the truth about brothers out there in the street. What y'all doing? And she's running it down. I go to another place. A woman standing up there saying, Salam alaikum, Sheikh Abdullah. I said, who you? She said, my name is so-and-so, so-and-so. My father was a Muslim. Is a Muslim. I said, your father's a Muslim? I said, what are you? I used to be a Muslim. I said, well, you apostate now? Oh, I gave it up years ago. I said, you need to put your garments back on and go back to work and comb that hair. Take that garbage out your head. Yeah. That's the way I talk to them, because this is the way they're supposed to be talked to. You're not supposed to patronize them or hold them up or hug them. You can't beat them up. You can't kill them. But you're not supposed to go ahead and hug them and whatnot. You're supposed to say, you walked away, continue to walk away, sister or brother, and leave me be. If it's your daughter, regardless of who it is, you must do these things. Either you want a law and be a servant of law, or you're not going to be anything. You can't do, there's no such thing as half of Islam. Either you're going to be it or you're not going to be it. And that's another thing I got to talk to you about, this so-called Islamic thing now. The things that's going on, the brothers that's preaching out there about preaching to the sisters about how they should be and whatnot. And a lot of it is true. He's given up Islam. He's given up the Quran and the Hadiths. But he's given up the other side. He's talking like both of them are the same. It's all right to wear a veil, and it's not all right to wear a veil. It's no such thing. You can't have it both ways. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu said to his wives when they covered their face and tore their garment off and made a veil and covered their face, and they said to him, "Is this it?" He says, "Yes, that's what Allah is saying." Now, if he says that, no other brother has a right to say anything other than that. But you're changing stuff. Your moderates is changing stuff to match your desires. And that's shirk. That's deep shirk. And people should tell you this. You professors and you doctors and you this and you lawyers and all this that want to play both worlds. I don't have time to deal with you no other way. Then what I'm doing, the law says be just, and I'm being just. I'm calling spades spades, and I'm calling hearts hearts. And this is what's happening to us. You're destroying our religion. You're tearing it down. You're breaking it up to pieces. You got these programs going on TV, on the net, and all these things. What you say, people are looking at it and they're saying that's Islam. That's not Islam. And a lot of the non-believers know it. Because they want you to do that. Obama and the rest of them want you to do that. Want you to turn around and throw your religion into a closet and come out and be whatever they want you to be. Do not practice your physical Islam in the United States or anywhere, regardless of what the United States Constitution says. You got brothers walking down the street into the hospital. I can walk in the hospital just like this here. And 9 doctors have walked past me named Abdullah. And not one of them would stop and say, "Salam alaikum, Sheikh." Why? Because everybody else is there looking, and they don't want to be accepted as Muslims in the open. This is what's happening out there. And you brothers and sisters that's looking at this program, you know I'm telling the truth. But you acting like I'm the enemy. I'm the enemy because I'm bringing it all out into the open. And you don't want to take sides with me because you're getting free rent. You turn around and they're paying for the masjid you're in. They send you the Quran you get. They're paying the imam's salary. And they help paying the light bill and the gas bill because you're not giving up enough. The same brothers that Dr. So-and-so is the one that writes a check for $500, $300. And some of you brothers don't want to give up $1. You come in, they're trying to build a mosque. What you give, $5? You got 2 footballs to a pocket. Footballs, like your pockets are so big with money, you got footballs in there. I've seen it too many times. I've seen too many times brothers come into the Juma and they turn around and they got a roll that big and they peel off $3 and drop it in the Sadaqah box. $3. And when you give up the zakat, you give up $25. You don't count what you got. You don't give up $25 or $20. And you're lucky if they give up $20. Then they got brothers coming with bags of rice and give up that and 4 sweaters. I've seen all this. And it's a shame that this is happening to us. And you're destroying the Islam with this moderate garbage. It's so opposite everything we do in the Quran. Everything we do. You're sitting around among the people that Allah tell you to stay away from. Stay away from these people. You want to be part of that crowd. You got brothers down there walking around with the ones that's doing it the most. They want to be they want to be so-called representatives of that group. So they join up and become representatives of that group. And then the group turns around and see that they close to this person and that person and this person and that person, and they turn around and make that person assistant or chairman of the board or president of the organization, knowing that the board of directors doesn't control this person. I've seen it too many times. I've been on 96th Street. And I went around 96th Street. And I went there trying to get some money for the organization, because we was trying to get some money to build something. And I asked the brother for some money, help. And he said, I gotta ask the chairman of the board. I said, what's your position? I'm Imam. Well, what do you have to say? What do you say? Well, I can't make that decision. The board of directors. What book is he reading? What book do these brothers read? What is the position in Islam of an imam? Does he have to go to a board of directors? No. No, he does not. Allah put the imam in his hand. Once he becomes imam, he is the leader of the Muslim group that comes into that masjid. And he does not have to go to no board of directors to ask them to give some sadaqah to a brother that walks in there, got an organization, need help. But this is what's happening here. This is coming out the moderates. This is what they do to control you. They ran out of Saudi Arabia, they ran out of Afghanistan, they ran out of Turkey, they ran out of all them places and come here to the United States to mess up the deen that the brothers put together in the United States. And that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. I've seen it too many times. And them brothers, you brothers know I'm telling you the truth. I go back to the early 60s and 50s, and late 50s. So you know I know what I'm talking about. I go back before Khalid Jassim was even thinking about being a Muslim. I go back to Sheikh Dawood when he first come to the United States almost. My name is not X so-and-so. My name is Abdullah. I'm not from an X crowd. I'm not trying to be the rulers of the Muslim people in the United States. I don't know what to say to you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rahmanir-Rahim, maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Allahu Akbar.